Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to talk about something that the internet has been talking about for the last few days. By the time you see this, I'm sure there's gonna be another scandal, another conversation being had, but there's something that's been bothering me. Social media generally, and I mean this pertains to real life, but I'm specifically referring to social media, namely YouTube and TikTok people. If you've been on the internet, whether you want to hear about this or not, you probably heard the name Charli D'Amelio, and you might have seen that there was drama between Trisha Paytas and James Charles. Now in this video, I don't really care to discuss the details and particulars of the drama as much as I want to use this as an example of what bothers me. Before we get into this video, as you know, content like this is often demonetized, so I'd like to thank today's sponsor, Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve is America's favorite adult store. Not only does it come with discreet packaging, but they also donate 20% of their profit to help fight the spread of HIV around the world. They also have a 24/7 customer service and have 90-day no-hassle returns. If you go to adamandeve.com and use code GLARE, you'll get 50% off one item and free shipping in the US and Canada. Thank you, Adam and Eve, for sponsoring this video. So if you don't know, Charli D'Amelio is a big TikToker. She just got to 100 million. Her family has a YouTube channel. In the YouTube channel, they filmed a video, and a lot of people got mad because Charli said that at the time she was at 95 million, I believe, and she wanted to get to 100 million followers on TikTok, which I don't think is like this big controversial thing. Like, I think most people have some kind of milestone goal they want to get to in life, even off social media, and I don't think it's weird to want to get there. Especially as a 16-year-old, that's a very big deal. Well, at any point, but you know, especially when you're younger. So basically in that video, a lot of people thought that the D'Amelio sisters came off as badly mannered, and frankly, I kind of agree. I thought that some of their behavior seemed meh, but then again, I was like, Charli's 16, so do I have this crazy high standard? No, they're still learning. I don't know how old her sister is, I believe 20, Dixie, but they kind of came off as meh. But again, it wasn't anything super controversial in my opinion. Charli started getting actual death threats, and she ended up going live and crying. Like, imagine a 16-year-old getting death threats because she came off as kind of rude or entitled to some people.
Huge trigger warning. These are really messed up messages, but I'm just gonna tell you guys this because you have to realize the reason that I don't want to speak out is because I know I'm gonna get stuff like people telling me to hurt myself, or people telling me like, you cannot like me but not attack the way I look, or the fact that you don't want me here. Like, that's where I kind of draw the line. And honestly, like, seeing how people reacted to this, like, I don't even know if I want to do this anymore. Like, this is messed up stuff that people are saying.
Literally, that is it. Which kind of shows you how crazy the internet can be sometimes, really getting, I guess, overly invested in something that is really not worth the investment. I've been guilty of that in the past as well. I think everyone does, especially if like you're already having a bad day and something rubs you the wrong way, and then that's, you know, like the last drop that makes the glass overflow, right? But our friend Trisha Paytas decided to intervene because Trisha Paytas, aka apparently the moral police, decided that she was gonna make a bunch of TikToks. I think the last time I checked there were like 4 or 5. I'll correct myself here if it's a different number. But Trisha Paytas is in her 30s, and there's no ageism here, but it's also like, as a 32-year-old, to me it seems strange to be like overly critical to the point of multiple TikToks over a situation that's so whatever, you know? Like, it's not the end of the world. Someone has a goal, okay, amen. Like, I don't understand what the big issue was, especially worthy of that many TikToks. Has she made that many TikToks about Jeffree Star? Like, I'm just wondering, if we're doing comparison of the problematic scale, it's not gonna be in Jeffree's favor, and she was friends with him until he unfollowed her, so. But the best part was that Charli D'Amelio was being defended by James Charles, because he kind of had the same stance as me, where he was just kind of like, this is like such a non-issue, people are making a mountain out of a molehill, which I agree with. And just to underline, I don't particularly like the D'Amelios, it's just not my type of content, nothing against them. I don't particularly like James Charles, I definitely don't like Trisha, so there's no real bias here because I don't really care for any of them. But it just seems like a lot, and you know, I can never find a justification for doxing or death threats or anything like that. But since James Charles decided to defend her, Trisha started trying to drag James Charles, but he dragged her right back, and he actually made a few, in my opinion, valid points.
How is it that James Charles is the victim in every single situ?
I didn't want to respond to this because I didn't want to give Trisha the attention that she's clearly craving. However, I've now been accused of being a child groomer, and this is not an accusation that I'm going to take lightly. To insinuate that the relationship between Charlie and I is anything other than just a friendship is absolutely disgusting. I don't need Charlie, and Charlie does not need me. I became friends with the D'Amelio family as a whole very, very early on because this is all very, very new to them, and I wanted to be a friend and a mentor in any way that I possibly could. And Charlie and I, despite not being the same age, had one thing in common, which was coming to the spotlight at a very, very young age. This is something that Trisha has never experienced because the only reason she is in the spotlight is because she has said racist things. She said the N-word, she's done blackface, she offended the trans community, she offended the DID community, she said Hitler wasn't that bad of a guy, voted for Trump, and has started a fight with about every single other creator on this platform. You are in no position to be talking about me and my career, so I highly recommend that you stop starting fights with people that are half your age, pack it up, and work on holding yourself and your best friends around you because they and you are the problem.
Now, why am I talking about this? I'm talking about this because this is a conversation I've had with other YouTubers as well, because Lord knows, I do think that there is a massive, massive, massive double standard in terms of how content creators are treated. Because let's just do a little history here, right? Trisha Paytas, on her podcast with H3, which is actually pretty entertaining because it's kind of a train wreck. In that podcast, Trisha admitted to not knowing what climate change was. Trisha admitted to not knowing about the Holocaust.
What was the alliance between Italy, Japan, and Germany during World War II called?
So it was called the Axis powers.
That's correct.
Wow. You knew that because of the Holocaust.
The fuck?
I low-key got really sad about the Holocaust this weekend. Moses explained to me what actually happened, and I like started crying.
You just found out about the Holocaust?
I had no idea that they like tricked them into going into showers and like killed millions of them that way.
Have you seen Schindler's List?
No.
You should watch that.
I feel like
Fucked up.
I got really sad when he said that because we were watching The Producers and they had like Springtime for Hitler, and I was like, oh, that's cute. And then he was like telling me, I'm like, well, what did Hitler do? That was so bad.
Oh my God.
And then he told me.
I have to. Do you believe that climate change is the most urgent is an urgent time bomb that we need to face immediately and boldly?
I have no idea what that is.
That's okay.
Climate change?
Climate change. Oh boy, you don't know what climate change is? Man-made climate change?
And she was calling James Charles uneducated. This is the same Trisha Paytas that made weird pedophilic jokes in like 2014. Listen, I know humor was different in 2014, but tagging underage people that you think are hot or you want to have sex with, I'm never gonna think that's normal or edgy. Like, that's not edgy. That's farther, way farther than that. She made those types of jokes. And Trisha's in a new scandal every week. So to me, it was almost humorous that Trisha would come out trying to morally police a 16-year-old who literally just said, I want to have more followers, which is like pretty much any teen with a social media presence wants that very same thing. And it really goes back to the double standard of Charlie's getting these death threats. Trisha Paytas is pretty much uncanceled because she never goes away. She might face backlash, but it's never been so bad that she's been run off the internet. And it's kind of a similar thing with Tana, where she will get away with essentially anything. Like, yeah, she might get a bit of criticism, she might get a bit of hate, but it never stops her from making the same shitty decisions and displaying the same shitty behavior. And I think a lot of people don't even know half of the shit she's done. She's just gotten away with it a lot. Anytime I mention she filmed a dead body with Shannon Rose, allegedly dead, which is like the clickbait title they used, the person seemed to have maybe had a drug overdose, so maybe they were just unconscious, but regardless, she filmed that body. She took her video down. Shannon Rose still has hers up as of when I'm filming. I'll link it down below. She did that. She drove high on Xanax and crashed her car and couldn't remember what side of the road she was supposed to drive on. And this is the person you choose to stan. Now listen, if you choose to stan her, it's none of my business. But to me, it's insane that she'll do things like this and not canceled. Some criticism, but people are kind of like, oh, she's the problematic fave, which is like, I don't make exceptions for people choosing to drive high or drunk. Like, that's not a small personality quirk. I'm sorry, that's not how it works. So these are all people I'm just simply using as examples to show that there is a massive double standard in the type of critique that people get, and granted, that double standard has probably been here since the beginning of time because not every single person gets the critique they deserve or gets, unwanted hate. But I just think this was the perfect time to talk about it because it's been so ridiculous on social media, and the fact that this whole I want 100 million followers thing blew up into a bigger than life type of scandal is just so strange to me when we see these other people actually doing things that are dangerous, heinous, questionable to say the least, and crickets, or people will talk about it, or it'll be quickly overshadowed by the next drama, and that drama almost passes so quickly that, like with Tana, they don't know about her driving high or her filming a dead body. Like, this is all just swept under the rug in a kind of way. Anyways, guys, you can let me know what you think in the comments down below, if you think there are different rules for different people, which I think we can all generally agree on, because that unfortunately is how life works. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to my patrons as always, and let's get right into the fan.